We'll ask God for what we want or what we think we need. But God shows up with what you really need. There's nothing wrong with asking for what you want. Nothing wrong with asking for what you want at all. But there's great beauty in what God gives us. And what he's giving is what you need. Let's look at the condition of the man who's begging. The condition is he's never walked. The condition is he don't think walking is possible. And so because he can't walk, he can't work. And so because he can't work, there's no income. Now, there are obviously people who will take him who will carry him. It says that each day he was put beside this gate so that he could beg. So there were people who would take him. They would take him to go beg. That was the only way he knew. That was all he knew. And, we say this often. You need money to survive in this world. Money is needed to survive in this world. You need some income. As you can see, that has not changed. And that's why we can't make money a bad thing. It's the greed for money. But if you it's when you idolize money. It's when you use it to not help. But you can't be mad, or there's no one wrong for recognizing that in this culture, money is needed. But Peter looks at him. He and John look at him, and Peter says to him in verse 4, look. And the man looks because he's expecting some money. This is his daily procedure. And Peter says, silver and gold I don't have, but I'm going to give you what I do have. Because see, we encounter people who are lame or crippled daily. Sometimes people is us, crippled in fear, crippled in our finances where it's not enough to get everything we need, crippled because we are lonely or bitter or anger. And we look at people every day and don't realize that you have what they need. The Holy Spirit is within you and you have what they need. Remember, we've been learning about being a witness. We're all called to be a witness. We're all called to tell of God's goodness and glory. We're all called to show up as a vessel and say, I got something for you. Peter looked at that man and said, get up and walk. Something that this man didn't think was possible. He's never walked before. He don't have anything to recall of days that I used to walk, or I used to go jogging, or there was no bad accident. He'd been lame from birth, but Jesus said, get up. Peter said, get up and walk because of the Spirit, the power that is within me. And we need to recognize. Remember, we said that Jesus ascended and assigned. He assigned to us the responsibility, the assignment is to witness. And when you witness, you will give people what God has for them because God's power is already in you. God's power is already in you. Use it, witness it, give people what they need, give them hope. What people always need is not money. Most of us will always want money, right? We always want money. Like I said, we're a culture where you need money to pay these bills, money to do some extracurricular things that we enjoy, money to take care of our children. Like money is needed. You got a doctor's appointment, money is needed. You're hungry, money is needed. But God doesn't just use you as in your witness to give money. You can give hope. You can give encouragement. You can give prayer. You can pray over somebody. You can heal someone. But you got to know the power that God has already placed within you. We don't use the power. We forget that when God ascended, he assigned. And it's time for us to walk in those assignments. This man who has been lame and crippled from birth, Peter took him by the hand in verse 7 and he helped him up. And so I can just see the man, he never walked, so I'm sure it was a slow get up, right? But then he started to feel that healing power. Those ankles got stronger. He was instantly healed and strengthened. And by verse 8, he jumps up. and he begins to walk. But it says the walking turns to leaping, and the leaping turns into praising God. Because you got to know how to worship God when he shows up and gives you what you needed, which was way more than what you wanted. Let's not forget how this started. This man asked for money. He gets a miracle. When God moves on your behalf, when God uses you to move. Remember I said sometimes we waiting on God, but we are the move. We say, I'm waiting on the Lord to move. He gonna move in you. You're the blessing. You're the witness. You're the vessel that he is going to use to bless somebody's life. Now, when you are on the other side, when you receive God's blessing, know how to respond with praise. Know to respond when you're waiting on the move. Know to respond with praise when you're praying, when you're asking God for what you want. Start praising him, knowing he's going to give you what you need. The people see, they know this man. See what I mean? Because now there's another witness, because they know him to be crippled, and now he's walking and running. And so now he's a whole testimony. Don't keep the miracle to yourself.